Hi, welcome to Caribou Country Lifestyle. My name is Cheryl. Today I'm going to be picking quite a few tomatoes, and also I'm going to be picking out my peppers, and we will be making some salsa in the house today. So I have quite a few varieties of tomatoes, and I just want to show you how beautiful they actually are. So this one here, this is the Aunt Ruby's German green. These are pretty ripe, but I haven't really had a lot of time. So this is just absolutely beautiful. A beautiful tomato. It's got that reddy orange inside when you cut it open. And I have so many of these. I am hoping to get a lot of salsa. And finally, I have found a weekend that I can actually do something with these and get on top of it. So I'm just going to be going around and snipping off all these beautiful ripe tomatoes. So we're just going to go around to the different varieties, and I'm just going to show you now that they are ripening, because last year my tomatoes did not ripen early enough, and I had to take them into the house, and I was having to ripen them in my windowsills, and so I wasn't making salsa this early last year. This one here, this is the old German, and it reminds me of the Aunt Ruby. Just because, again, it has the red and the orangey yellow in it, but this one seems to have a lot more yellow than the orange in it. And I've only got a few of these that are ripe so far. We've got a pretty tiny one, but they are starting to make their way to be ripe. So I'm just gonna clip off. I think that's it for really ripe ones. This, yeah, I could probably take that one too. These ones aren't near as big as the Aunt Ruby's were. Here are more of medium sized slicer. These are the Manitoba tomatoes. And when I had these growing in a pot out on the deck, they didn't do anywhere near as nice as they have out here in the raised bed garden area. So I would definitely plant these out here for next year, because I've always heard that the Manitoba were pretty prolific as far as the producer goes, but I never found that to be true out or on my deck when I had them in pots. Mystery Roma, and these are just a very small plant, but I've already picked a lot of these off of here, and these definitely I would be able to plant those in a pot on the deck. This is a new variety of tomato that I have planted, and it's the Valencia. It's an orange tomato, low in seeds, low in acid. But that's a pretty nice tomato. I'm impressed by that. I have a few here that I can pick. I don't have like a ton. I have some more tucked in behind these leaves. And that one there. Yeah, they're pretty nice. I have a couple more in here. Nice little cluster in here. got to be careful how I snip these out. When I was over there cutting out some of the tomatoes, I cut the wrong branch and I ended up cutting out some not ripe ones along with some ripe ones. And so just have to be aware of which stem you're snipping. Over here on the other side, these are the Oxheart tomatoes. And I've always liked these because they remind me of the shape of a heart. And they are really meaty, kind of pasty tomato. Not a lot of juice to them. That's a good sized one there. Another pretty good sized one there. And then we got some a little bit smaller. But that just reminds me of a heart. And I think I'll pick it, but it still is a little bit green on the top, and I can stick that in my kitchen windowsill and it will ripen up pretty fast. Okay, so on this side, these ones here are the New Girl tomatoes. They're quite small actually, and then beside them on these two plants, these are the Celebrity tomatoes, and again a smaller variety. And so I am going to pick these and I'm going to put them on top of the ones that I've already picked. This box is pretty much full, but we'll get these picked and added to these other tomatoes. And again, the Celebrity variety on this side, I used to grow those in pots on the deck because they are a bush style tomato, and I thought, well, we'll grow them on the deck because then they don't take up as much space. But again, they have not grown as good as they have out here on these panels in the raised garden beds. Just got a couple in behind. And as you can see, my box is pretty full, and that is with 7 varieties so far, but I'm going to grab another box. Very beautiful colors. So over here we have the Amish paste, and that is just such a beautiful aroma paste tomato. The size is wonderful. I love the Amish paste tomatoes. I've been growing them for probably the last 4 years, and I've really liked their quality and their production and the size of tomatoes. Those are so nice. Next to that, these are the Black Prim, a larger slicer tomato too. They're kind of starting to split on the top, so that tells me that I definitely should have been out here sooner picking these. But I still have quite a few. This one's kind of stuck. I promised my sister that I would save her some tomatoes from the Black Prim. She didn't get a chance to buy some, and so I asked her if she just wanted me to save her some from mine, because I will be taking the seeds out of all of my tomatoes. So I told her I could totally save her some of these seeds from these tomatoes. Now we're going to be picking some of the peppers. Here we have the sweet banana peppers. I have some that are starting to turn red. So we're definitely going to be picking a lot of these to put in our salsa. And some of these that are just starting to change color, I'm going to pick those too. I'm going to need quite a few peppers. I did go out to a local farm that's about a 20-minute drive from our area, and it's the Soda Creek farm, and I ended up picking up some jalapeno peppers and some sweet peppers. So I have a couple more over on this side. In behind there's another really nice one. And another one just starting to change color. So I'm gonna pick this one too. That's a pretty nice sized. I think that's good for now. These here, a little cobweb in there. I'm gonna pick some of these. Some of them are just starting to change color. A little bit on the small side, but they're definitely a nice blocky pepper. That one's a pretty good size. Once I start picking these, then the others will get bigger as well. Okay, got one stuck in the middle here. There we go, starting to change color. This one's not quite as big as the others. And depending on how many tomatoes I have for a batch of salsa, per batch, I need 10 cups of chopped up tomatoes, 5 cups of chopped up sweet peppers, and 5 cups of chopped onions, and also 2.5 cups of chopped up jalapenos, which don't have any jalapenos on my peppers plants yet. Well, they're just starting, so they're not ready, they're not mature enough to be picking. So I ended up going out to the Soda Creek farm and I got 3 pounds of jalapeno peppers out there. I got probably 8 good sized sweet green peppers, and then I also, for a friend, I picked up 2 dozen cobs of corn for her, and out there you can get a dozen cobs of corn for $5, which isn't a bad deal at all. So we're gonna take all of this in and then we'll start the salsa process. So far what I have going on, I have a pot of boiling water and I'm using that to take the skins off of my tomatoes. So then I will plunk the tomatoes in the boiling water. It doesn't take very long. The next thing you know, you'll see the skin split. Once it has split, then you're going to take it out of the hot water and I put it into a sink of cold water. Also, I am going to be putting these jalapeno peppers and my sweet peppers into the oven. I have them on the broiler setting at 450 degrees. And what I want to do is I'm going to char them to get the peels off, and then I'm going to de-seed these peppers. So I'm just going to stick these into the oven. Kind of keep my eye on that as well. It takes about 15-ish minutes for that. Depends. The jalapenos might not take as long, but the sweet peppers, because they're bigger, they might take a little bit longer. I've already peeled my onions. I have 10 peeled onions. If I find that I need more, but I need 5 cups for each recipe. I think I'm going to get 2 batches out of the amount of tomatoes that I have. So I've peeled 10 onions. If I need more, I'll have a red onion out in the garden that I can bring in and peel that to add to it. I also have my Baba Franchuk garlic that I picked in July, and I'm going to be using that in my salsa as well. My onions, I'm just going to cut them into quarters because I have to chop them. And I'm going to use this little food chopper. This is a chopper from Tupperware that I got, and it actually works pretty good. So I'm going to use this for my onions, and then once my peppers are done, I'll be using it for my peppers. So I'm going to put 5 onions into my chopper, and then we'll see how much I get for chopped onions. And one more. I'm also filling up my sink with cold water for my tomatoes. And then what I do is I just fasten my lid on. And then I just pull this. And there's blades in there, and it just chops up the onions for me. Okay, let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's chopped up good. And that's probably only about 3 cups. Oh, I hear popping too. Okay, let me take a look. See what's going on. Okay, I'm taking these out of the oven. They're starting to blister, but not all of them are. So now I've got my tomatoes in the pot, and I'm already taking them out and moving them over, putting them into the cold water. Oh, there's another one. I've probably already done a quarter of these tomatoes, but I just pull the stem off, plunk them in the water. These little guys, the stems seem to come out of them a lot easier than the bigger tomatoes. I'm fighting with the big tomatoes trying to get these stems out, but these little ones are pretty easy to get them out. And they sure don't take long for the peels to split. That one, that stem just doesn't want to come out. Not as freely as some of the other ones. And I just keep plopping in tomatoes, and then it takes no time at all, and I'm already taking them out. I have already quite a few that I can already remove out. And I've just barely put them in there. Takes like 30 seconds to a minute for some, but not very long. These ones, I just love the color. They're so beautiful. It's gonna look nice in a jar of salsa, having the red mixed with the yellow. It's gonna look so pretty. Okay, that should be good. I'm gonna take another look at my peppers. See, it's just a little 3-prong blade that's in there. Dump this into a measuring cup and see where I'm at. So that's almost 4 cups. Hi, welcome back. We are on the next day. Had a bit of a standstill yesterday. I had my peppers roasting in the oven and my tomatoes had the skins coming off. Everything was going really well. And what took so long was getting the skins, not so much getting the skins off the peppers, but then I had to de-seed the peppers, and I also was going to de-seed the tomatoes, and that's what took the longest, was de-seeding those tomatoes. The reason why I took the skins off of the peppers and de-seeded them, and de-seeding the tomatoes, my husband and I, we decided to go on a specific eating program last May, after the first week of May, thereabouts. So we were trying to get inflammation out of our bodies. I have struggled with inflammation in my right hip, and he has struggled with inflammation in the back of his neck, which was causing a lot of headaches. So we have decided to try to get the inflammation out of our bodies. And with that, we have went on a pretty strict, regimented diet, and this is the reason why we took the skins off of our peppers and our tomatoes and de-seeded them, because there's this thing called lectins in some of these vegetables. You can find them in zucchini, a lot of the nightshades, so your peppers, your tomatoes, your cucumbers, your regular potatoes, squash, like zucchinis. And I found a way around the zucchini. We just take the peels off of the zucchini, and if we use the zucchinis when they're really young, the baby zucchinis, then the seeds haven't even formed in the zucchinis as of that, you know, if you get them soon enough. But it's in so much stuff. We have taken corn out of our diet, regular potatoes out of our diet, oats, anything with corn in it, cornstarch, corn meal, regular eating corn. Like, I absolutely love corn on the cob. We're not eating that anymore. So part of it kind of sucks, but since we have started this, we both have went off of our acid reflux medications. It was a prescription that helped us with our acid reflux. And I no longer have pain in my right hip anymore. And also, I mean, I dropped 20 pounds, which is an added bonus. So taking the seeds out of the tomatoes took a long time. I was probably spent 4 hours taking the seeds out of the tomatoes in 2 batches of salsa. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pressure can it, and if there are any remaining lectins in the vegetables, I have a little bit of a hard time getting all the peel off of the peppers, but with processing them in the pressure canner, that will remove the rest of the lectins in it. It's such a high heat. So I quit at about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, because then I had to start getting dinner ready. So now we're going to carry on today. So I need 3 cloves of garlic in each batch. actually used some of this garlic in my dinner last night. I made spatchcock chicken, and then you make a dipping sauce. It's a lemon juice and olive oil, fresh garlic, and a little bit of cayenne pepper. The recipe actually asked for those red pepper chili flakes, but because they have the seeds from the chilies, we aren't supposed to be having that anymore. But I can do cayenne pepper, because once you turn it into a powder and process it that way, then we are able to have that. So I'm just gonna get this garlic that's shoved inside of this clove instead of coming out through the holes. So yeah, it's been a bit of an adjustment, but overall, like, because we see the end results, and they've been good results, to be taken off of acid reflux medication, that prescription, I mean, that's amazing. My husband hasn't been suffering with headaches all the time. He has no inflammation in his neck anymore. So we've seen a lot of really good benefits from it. One of the buddies that he shoots with asked him one time, we were going out for dinner, and that's a challenge too, is knowing what you can have. There's a lot of restaurants that we can't eat at, but we've found a few that we can eat at, and they're really good about taking things out and replacing it with other items in it. So next I need 1 1/4 cups of apple cider vinegar. And we use the apple cider vinegar from Costco. It's a really good apple cider vinegar, 1 1/4. And this is from the Bernardin canning cookbook. And it's called the Zesty Salsa, and I really like it. I've been making it for years. It's one of my favorites, and my family seems to really like it too. My husband's not a fan of the apple cider vinegar, having it by itself, but he doesn't mind it in things. A tablespoon of salt. And then some cilantro. Now I don't have cilantro in my garden anymore, and I didn't buy any, but I get the cilantro in the paste that you can get in the tubes. I'm just going to add some of that. So a couple of tablespoons, but I put about a tablespoon in there. I put a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. And I love cumin. So, okay, we are going to turn this onto medium-high heat and bring it to a boil. And then we'll come back once it's at a boil, and I'll let you know what we're doing next. Okay, so once I brought this to a boil, also I forgot that I was putting in a teaspoon of hot pepper sauce. Each batch is supposed to be able to do 6 pints. I have 14 pints ready to go just in case. I can fit 14 pints into my pressure canner. So far, I put a kettle full of hot water in here, plus I added 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Now what the vinegar does is that helps with reducing the hard water film that you will get on your jars when they are canning. So I put in 1.7 liters of water, and then I had to add more because you have to have, well, 3 quarts or 3 liters of water into your pressure canner. So now we're ready to actually start filling up my jars. I'll leave that one simmering, and I'm using some gem pint jars, and I'm also using the wide mouth pint jars. I love the color with the red tomatoes and the yellow tomatoes and the orange tomatoes. I think it's just going to make this salsa look absolutely beautiful. And we'll fill it up and leave about a ½ an inch of headspace. And we'll just use a cloth to wipe around the edge, just in case. I put a tea towel underneath my jars. And then just make sure you turn it finger tight. You don't need to reef on the jars. Get my funnel over here before I have a mess. And I didn't quite use all of the jalapenos, but I definitely have enough once I have some more, depending on how much I get. Here, I mean, 14 pints isn't really a lot with my family. We definitely like the more the better. I've been really excited to be making salsa again. When I first went on this eating program, and I didn't think I would have still made salsa because my son loves salsa, my family loves salsa, but then when I realized that all I had to do was take out the seeds and the peels, and I thought, oh sure, it's going to be a little more time consuming, but yeah, I had no idea how time consuming this was going to be. But it's done. I'm happy that I was able to get it done. So towards the end, my back was getting quite sore being hunched over a pot for that many hours. And it wasn't even, it was the deep taking the seeds out. That was, my lower back was quite tired and had a real workout that way. But other than that, it was good. just keep going on. So far I have 14 pints of salsa, but I still have a little bit more to do. So I'm going to do 4 more pints of salsa. I have 4 more pints here in a hot sink of some hot water, and we'll see how far we get. So I'm not gonna video this for any longer, and I just want to thank you for joining me on my little salsa, taking out the seeds out of my tomatoes and the seeds out of my peppers, and just doing something a little bit different. We like salsa, so I just wanted to make it possible that we could still have salsa, being on this more strict diet that we're on. But it's a lifestyle change, and we see the results, and we're happy with the results. So we'll just continue carrying on. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.